talk to the undefeated. Oh, by the way, AJ got it. It's Napoleon, right? Vote Pedro. All right, look, okay. The drip, the gear, you probably saw it yesterday. This is from Chris Mobley, okay? So you can go to their website. You can go to their store. I don't know if they have one in Birmingham. They have one here in Tuscaloosa. They have two of them. Tell them Bama Football on YouTube sent you. This hat was just released. It's a rope hat. I'd love it if I was playing golf. I haven't even played golf in such a long – I played twice this year, twice. And then, of course, you know, the old Alabama logo is like – that's it. So – you can go and get yours at Chris Mobley, and I appreciate you guys supporting them. And it's nice. And this is Peter Millar, so this is golf, you know. Man, I wish I was thinking about going to the driving range today, but I ain't going to do that. Okay, let's talk breakout players. And Ray, I'll put the link for where I get my stuff inside the comment box for sure, or in post show for sure. Okay, let's talk about breakout players, and we'll go one by one. But what I want you to do right now, for now, how about we just start with the offensive players on this board? So there's 3 offensive players: Kendrick Law, Emmanuel Henderson, and Wilkin Formby, right? And then there's 3 defensive players. And the way that I listed this is basically I kind of brought out players that I felt are a little bit underrated, maybe undervalued by the rest of the world of college football. And I didn't kind of name obvious choices. Like, for example, like I could have put Justice Haynes on here, but we all know he's going to have a breakout season. I mean, he wasn't utilized last year because he had 2 other running backs, but, you know, now he's going to have a breakout season. Thought about adding a couple other players, but I think these players right here kind of fit the bill. All right, so let's talk just offensive players: Kendrick Law, Emmanuel Henderson, and Wilkin Formby. Out of those players, A, B, or F, type inside the comment box which player that you think is going to have a breakout season this year. And what I mean by breakout season is, for me, it would be Kendrick Law catching over 500 yards. What it would mean for me, for Emmanuel Henderson, a guy that hasn't even caught a pass at Alabama, right? Jeff is saying A, but is it really a breakout season? He's been a dude for a while. Jeff, okay, good point. And I appreciate you, Jeff Tatum. Dude, he didn't even catch for 200 yards last year. That's the crazy thing about Kendrick Law. So maybe he could fit in the same category as Justice Haynes. But then again, it's like you go out there and watch the wide receivers, and there's so much rotation. It would be an absolute travesty, and I would be absolutely shocked if Kendrick Law isn't utilized this year. Right. So maybe that's kind of the one that maybe, is the one that everybody goes with. But it's crazy that he didn't catch for 200 yards. And it's amazing to me that Emmanuel Henderson hasn't even caught a pass, and he's a junior. Now, a lot of it was because he was hurt up into that game against Texas A&M last year. But you get what I'm saying, right? On the far side is another offensive player that I listed in Wilkin Formby. And we're going to talk position battles, too, after this. And I think right now he's probably – I think he's the front runner to win that right tackle position. Justin, what's up, man? I see you inside the comment box. Mr. Yee is saying, K-Law. I appreciate it. So it sounds like, Kendrick Law out of the options for the offense. But Wilkin Formby is another guy that, everybody is watching. Hometown guy out of Northridge High School. He was at the Spirit Night, and I'm sure he'll be maybe at the scrimmage tonight for Northridge. But, he's won that right tackle position, at least for now. And battling probably, I would assume, against Elijah Pritchett, who can play either tackle position, right or left. So let's see if he can maintain that spot at the tackle position. Let's talk about the defensive players now on this board. So you have Devontae Smith, you had Jaheim Otis, and you have Keanu Coop. This is kind of hard when you're talking about, breakout players from each of these guys. Let's start with Devontae Smith. And go ahead and post C, D, or E out of the defensive guys. AJ, what's up? Olas Allen, and he's had a really good fall camp. He's repping with the 2s at the left guard position. Devontae Smith is a name nobody talks about. He'll get his notoriety sooner than later. He plays the Husky position going against like the slot wide receiver on the defensive side of the ball. Last year, he was injured and, ended up right in the pine because Jalen Key was the guy. But everybody's saying E. If I had to vote, I might be going with E as well. And look, Devontae Smith is probably a starter, but Keanu Coat is just, man, he's that guy. I think everybody inside the comment box kind of feels the same way about Keanu. You see him out there. He's been here for a while, and these are all vets. Devontae Smith's a vet. Jaheim Otis is a vet. Keanu Coat, he's a vet. But you look at that wolf position, right? We've talked about the depth of the wolf position. Think of a Dallas Turner, William Anderson. I mean, you have Q-Rob, you have Keanu Coat, you have Quay Russo, and you have Yanzi Pierre. Those are the four guys rotating in at that spot at that wolf position. So maybe it doesn't matter who has a breakout season or who even starts, but the fact is that you have comfortable and very talented depth at that position should make you feel happy. All right, so I kind of wanted just to run through some breakout players. Let me ask you before I change topics, is there another player that I didn't list on here that kind of fits that bill that could be a breakout player? Go ahead and post what you think could be a breakout player. A player that's not listed on here. Just want to see what you guys come up with inside the comment box. Man, this coffee's hot today. LT Overton. Oh, and the other factor that I put into this was they weren't a transfer. Like, these were the guys that were on the team last year that were coming in. So that's kind of the criteria that I had. But you guys are pointing to transfers. Jefferson LT Overton, who had a really good scrimmage, right? Kane Womack with the soundbite saying that he's a 280-pound ass kicker. Jeff Stapleton is saying Sab from Michigan, add depth. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, him and Malachi Moore, I think, are going to be one of the top tandems, in college football in the secondary position. Mr. Yee is saying Quay would be my pick. I thought about adding Quay Russo, man. Seriously, he's a beast. Absolutely. Marcus is saying LT Overton, and so is Max. So it looks like you guys are going with the transfer, and it makes sense, right, for a guy to have a breakout season. Quay Russo's. Oh, James Smith. I like that. Nice ad. Yeah, really good. Okay. Patriot Life, what's up, man? I see you inside the comment box. Chris from New Jersey. Man, my boy Chris is going to ride with Damani to the end. I love that. He's been talking about Damani Jackson for a long time, too. All right. Appreciate the feedback on that. I was kind of curious to see what you guys would say for the breakout players. All right, let's talk position. Hey, our super chat goal is just $10 today, and we got 5 up in the house. First 5 in is from Brent. Let's go to the question. Kyle, do you think if Coach KD will be continuing? Oh, do you know if Coach will be continuing Hey Coach this year? Oh, yes. The only difference is, and they had Hey Coach last night, which was Wednesday night. Hey Coach is, the show where they spotlight the Alabama football coach. Previously, it was, Eli Gold who would host the show. I think it's Robert Hoover now, who does a really good job for the Alabama Crimson Tide Sports Network. It's going to just be moved on Wednesday. So you will have the Hey Coach show on Wednesday, and I think it'll be at 6 p.m. Central Time. Now, I'm not sure on the time. I think with Coach Saban, he did it at 7 on Thursday, but I think it'll be Wednesday night with Coach Kalen DeBoer. Now, the season schedule will also change during game week. So, for example, on Monday, you used to have Coach Saban at the podium right at 12. Well, this year, you will have Kalen DeBoer at the podium at 12, along with Nick Sheridan and Kane Womack. So those assistant coaches will also speak along with probably some players as well, right? So Monday will be an action-packed day. I believe Tuesday you get to hear from some more players as well. Wednesday is the Hey Coach show, and nothing really Thursday or Friday. So that's kind of how the schedule works, and you're not going to get and I would imagine that Coach Kalen DeBoer probably speaks to the media on Wednesday morning, not Wednesday night. So you used to have Coach Saban in the evening time. Coach Kalen DeBoer obviously, moved everything up to the morning. Patriot Life in with a 20 spot. We appreciate it. We're up to $30. Hey, appreciate it, man. We passed our goal today. Boom, Patriot Life in there. Roll Tide. Keep up the great content. Man, I really appreciate it, Patriot Life. And you know what? One of these hats would look nice on you, Patriot Life. I'm just saying. It would be a nice addition to your repertoire. Ron is asking me, damn, Kyle, damn, where did you get that awesome Alabama hat and shirt you're wearing from? I mentioned this in the beginning of the show. So, look at the super chat emoji that pops up. It's hilarious. I got this at Chris Mobley. So this is a hoodie, right? And it's super light. It's a Peter Millar, right? It's made for golf. And this is a rope hat. Same thing from Chris Mobley. They posted it on their social media channel, and I went over there yesterday and got some gear from them. So if you want to have the gear and you want this hat, look, this is fire, of course, because you got the old logo, right? But the hat is premium. And they also have a black hat like this. I'll wear the black hat maybe tomorrow. But I wear white because white looks better on the show. Dark is like, it's a little bit too dark. But I'll wear the black one tomorrow just so you can see. It's literally the same thing. It just says Tide, but it's a black hat. Jeff says, Kyle, I appreciate you doing the show later as I work 2 jobs. Hey, man, I get it, bro. Because, during the summertime, I was doing the show at 7:30 in the morning because it fit my schedule because the kids were home. I could come home after my workouts and do the show for, at 7:30. I'll probably change my show even during game week to be 2 hours. Right now I'm hitting the hour mark, but during the season I'll have enough content to go with the 2-hour show, taking your calls and talking about the week coming up. So that'll start the Monday before Western Kentucky. And I also replay this show right now at 12 p.m. So if you can't see it, you can't find the rewatch, it runs at 12 as well. Let's talk position battles, okay? So these are the position battles I put up there. I think we're starting to see who now don't get so caught up in like who's going to be the starter. I say this all the time because of the fact that Alabama is so deep. Just because the guy doesn't get on the field first, there's different packages, there's different formations, there's down and distance, but for depth chart's sake, let's start on the right, and you got another picture of Wilcom Formby. Looks like he's going up against Elijah Pritchett. And the front runner is clearly Wilcom Formby. I don't even, when you talk battles, I mean, it's probably 90%, 95% that Wilcom Formby starts at right tackle. But Elijah Pritchett, he was starting at left tackle before Caden Proctor got here. He started in the spring game before. So Elijah Pritchett probably next off the bench in terms of either tackle position. Now, the corner position, I think you have some really good. So the corner position right now, in terms of position battle, this is great. And I think it would probably be Zabian Brown 60% and maybe Deshaun Jones, 30%, which leaves us 10% left, which would be Jalen Mbakwe. Now, the only reason I think that maybe Deshaun Jones has gained a little bit of ground on Zabian Brown is just the club. I was going to say that, right? Just because he has, a slight injury. For example, in that scrimmage, Zabian Brown was working with the threes because of the injury. I don't think it's going to be a significant injury to where he has. I have no idea when this club will come off. But I know that Jalen Mbakwe also ran with the ones during the scrimmage. So Deshaun Jones, he will play, and so will Jalen Mbakwe. All of those guys will compete at the corner spot. Now the corner opposite Damani Jackson, that's locked up. Marcus is asking inside the comment box, do we know if our OC and DC will be in the box or on the sidelines? I believe that Kane Womack will be on the sidelines and that Nick Sheridan will be up in the booth. I like the guy up in the booth. I honestly do. You got a better vantage point for your offense, and now with helmet communication, so helmet communication is going to be huge this year because Nick Sheridan will be able to talk to Jalen Milroe pre-snap. Not like when the play's going down, he can't be like, hey, throw it to Ryan Williams. No, not like that. But, pre-snap, he'll be able to talk to him. Same thing on the defensive side. Kane Womack will be able to talk to Deontay Lawson, which will be amazing. I mean, so that's why the sign stealing and this and that, there'll still be some sign and signal calling, of course, because that's just part of the game. But how amazing for Nick Sheridan to be able to contact Jalen. This is the first year that college football has ever had that. The bandit position is another defensive down lineman, and you have Jamarian Latham. This is a great battle right here. I don't know. It's probably like, let's say like 40-40, right? And then 20% maybe Keon Keeley. I don't know. Maybe I think LT Overton has maybe climbed a little bit more. So in the photo is Jamarian Latham, but once again, I mean, you rotate those guys in, and look at that. You could have at the bandit position, any of those guys could be starters. Keon Keeley just doesn't have the experience yet because he just transferred positions, right? Patriot Life, I haven't like zoomed in on your hat, but I will, man. Yeah, it looks good. I like the white hats. Yeah, but I mean, LT Overton, whew, man, I'm loving what I see. Deer Hunter, man, you're watching from school. Hey, Deer Hunter, we're going to have to, you know what, Deer Hunter? We're going to do a grade check on you after the first quarter. And if your grades are slipping, you're going to have to be watching the replay at night, all right? Because we need those grades up. All right. And then, look, the wide receiver room, there is so much. I think it's everyone versus everyone. Right? Thank you, Marcus. Yeah, Deer Hunter. But Deer Hunter loves his Tide. We're going to do a grade check, all right? We're going to check with mom and dad, and we're going to get the grade check. But the wide receiver position, and you'll hear a clip that I'm going to play from Nick Sheridan here in a second, talking about the rotation of the wide receivers, how everybody gets in, which I love. And he says in the interview, everybody has to be able to play the X, the Z, the H position, the Y position. Like, everybody has to know those different positions. Same thing with the tight ends, with the two positions there, and same thing with the offensive linemen, right? But I think it's everybody. So, like, for example, like, Kobe Prentice battling against Cole Adams, right? Ryan Williams adding some competition against vets like Jeremy Bernard and Kendrick Law. Don't sleep on Caleb Odom or Emmanuel Henderson, who are battling as well. Man, that wide receiver room is absolutely 1,000,000% stacked. All right. Moving along on the topics today, my name is Kyle Henderson and Bama Football on YouTube. I appreciate you guys being here. Today is Thursday, August 15th. The time is 9:20, and you're watching Bama Football on YouTube, also on Spotify. So if you go to Spotify, trying to build up the podcast following, if you guys could follow on Spotify, that'd be cool. Christopher Woodson, man, what's up? I see you. It's all good, man. Pamela, I see you. Gonna miss Nyblack. You know, I was talking about the tight ends recently, and I think I have some footage of the tight ends before we move to our next topic. Here's the tight ends in action. I was kind of curious to see what the tight ends would do, how they would look in fall camp. And I recently had a video talking like the stock is on the rise for the tight ends. Look at this is CJ Dupree right here. He's super athletic. He played out of the most snaps out of any tight end, even more than Amari Nyblack last year. Look at Robbie Oots, right? 270 pounds. Ty Lockwood, another super athletic tight end. You got Josh Cuevas as well. Jay Lindsey. So I feel pretty confident about this tight end room. At first, I didn't really understand, like, you know, how it was going to be. Now, I'm curious to see how it'll be utilized. But if you go back and watch kind of the scrimmage highlights from the springtime, and you look at how they were utilized during A-Day, you know, Danny Lewis caught a touchdown. Josh Cuevas just caught a touchdown during this recent scrimmage, and so did CJ Dupree, right? Jalen Milroe had, 4 touchdowns in this spring game. So I think the tight ends will absolutely be utilized. And CJ Dupree, who knows? He could have a really big year. And so I you know, look, you look at players that left Alabama, the ones that I think about, Isaiah Bond, I think about Amari Nyblack, maybe both of those guys, you know, because each of those guys went to Texas. I think about Caleb Downs because he went to Ohio State. But honestly, like, I mean, look, Caleb Downs will 1,000,000% be starting, but damn, Keon Sabb's not too far off, right? I mean, I think Caleb Downs will probably be a top 10 pick when it's his time, but Keon Sabb's not bad. Malachi Moore, I mean, he's right there. And the tight ends that you have, man, they're looking good. Here's Danny Lewis right here. David is asking, any chance we see Odom at tight end? No, I don't think he'll move back to tight end. I think you will definitely get him in some sets. I mean, he had this amazing catch during the scrimmage where it was from Austin Mack. He goes up. You saw it on social media. Goes up and one-hands it. You're going to utilize Caleb Odom. I mean, how can you not? I just think the tight end room out of the offensive positions, like if the running backs are an A+, the tight end room, I kind of had them maybe like at a, you know, C+ at the beginning of fall camp. I would probably elevate that to a solid B+. And I'm a very tough grader, right? Nice catch right there. Okay, let's go back to the topics today. We're talking breakout players. We talked about that at the beginning of the show. Position battles, we talked about that as well. Let's talk about Justice Haynes for a minute. So Justice Haynes is an all-purpose type back. He's out of the state of Georgia. Last year, he was capable to play. He was ready. Look, no disrespect to Jace McClellan, no disrespect to Roydell Williams, because I think those guys did a really good job. Hey, Jarvis, I did get your email, by the way. That was cool, seeing Coach Saban interact with the players yesterday, for sure. But the thing about it is Justice Haynes, he has a special talent in terms of he has the best footwork that I've ever seen out of any running back, honestly. The running backs that I've covered here at the University of Alabama, certainly some first-round guys, I kind of look to him almost as a blend as maybe like a Jahmyr Gibbs, who had really good footwork and had some good burst. I don't know, another blend of a running back. Let me ask you, from the footage you've seen, and we haven't seen a lot of him playing on the field, who would you compare Justice Haynes and his playing style to? Because I do see a little choppiness of him, like Jahmyr Gibbs. Someone was saying, no, D. Henry's much bigger. Who else we got? Ingram? Maybe like a blend of like Ingram and Gibbs? Maybe that's it. No, I think Najee was bigger. I think Ingram and Gibbs, that could be a really good blend. Because Saquon Barkley, I kind of like that. I think, Josh Jacobs, yes. How about, okay, stay with me here. Josh Jacobs and Jahmyr Gibbs. That, you know what I'm saying? Like if you blended those two, I'm serious. Like I feel like that would be like the blend of him. Who did Marcus say? I missed it inside the comment box. Ooh, Damian Harris and Josh Jacobs. Now the thing is, like, what is his top end speed, right? Because we really haven't seen him kind of bust out a long run just yet. But I think Josh Jacobs and Jahmyr Gibbs could be a really good, kind of preview of what type of back Justice Haynes is. Along with that, Justice Haynes is articulate. He's polished. And in this soundbite, and I played it last night, he sounds like an NFL player. And when I spoke with him face-to-face at the Rose Bowl last year, man, it was like you were talking to an NFL back. He's a great future ambassador of the University of Alabama. And what I mean by that is when he starts giving national interviews. Ooh, Glenn Coffey and Gibbs, man, man. Independent, I can see that. Like, and we don't know like what his top end speed was in comparison to Gibbs. Gibbs was able to get 8 yards automatically. Like he was that fast. Someone's saying Ezekiel Elliott. He's a complete back. Anyways, really good interview. I'm gonna play a quick soundbite. This is from yesterday. This is Justice Haynes talking just kind of about his style of play. And about the running back room and his overall mentality. This is one of my favorite players to listen to, honestly. Here's Justice Haynes from yesterday.
Yeah, just as a whole collective group, we try to get better each and every day. 1-0, like Coach DeBoer preaches all the time. Win the rep, win the day. That's what we try to do, and we push each other to the best of our abilities. Oh, yes, sir, definitely. I pride myself in being a versatile back, especially nowadays with running backs. You want to be able to do it all. You don't want to be a guy that's out there first, second, and then third down, they got to bring someone else in. You want to be a guy that stays on the field all 3 downs and goes and makes plays each and every day. Just try to improve each and every day. Each day is a new challenge and presents its new challenge of its own. Go back and watch the film, whatever I need to correct. Go out the next day, correct that. One thing I say, when you stop learning, your life should be done. So you never stop learning. So just always trying to continue to keep learning. I can learn every ounce of football, every chance I get. I'm going to try to do that. Oh, we're looking to accomplish big things as a running back group. We push each other each and every day, but as a relationship-wise, we have a great relationship. We don't just hang out on the football field. We don't just hang out here at the facility. We'll go out and go eat. We'll go to each other's houses. We had an NCAA tournament all together. Something just cool that we done is like throughout the summer, just hanging out, bowling together. We do things like that just to build chemistry. We love being around each other. We have a great relationship, but we also know it's genuine. So when we push each other on the field, we got that relationship off the field, so we can go push each other on the field, and we know it's how to love. We don't have a name, but I see where Jalen's saying exterminators. We figure out problems. We eliminate those problems. Whether it's in pass blocking, whether it's in the run game, having to make someone miss, we just figure out a way to do our job.
Yo, I hope you enjoyed that interview. I mean, isn't he articulate? Like, he is the guy. And what a great, someone said inside the comment box, what a great head on his shoulders. And I think Max says it best, like the maturity that he has. He's not even 20 years old. You see the pipes on him? Oh, like, I'm telling you, like, I am so excited to see his game this year. And you look at the running back room around him, and you hear him speak about his running back room. By the way, they had an EA Sports college football tournament. He said Daniel Hill is pretty good on the sticks and came away. But he said that they eat together, they go bowling together, they hang out, and they push themselves to be the best. But, man, he's jacked. And so is Jan Miller, man. Like, these guys, man, they're in the gym. You saw David Ballou, pressing 745 on the plates? I agree, man. Brent, I agree with you, man. He is literally a student of the game, but he's a great ambassador of the University of Alabama. When he even starts to give like these national interviews, Justice Haynes, man, you're going to see him. My prediction is you see Justice Haynes at SEC Media Day next year. 765, that's what it was, Chris? That is crazy. Yo, that was wild. All right, okay. We talked about Nick Sheridan yesterday, and I spoke about that was a funny clip from Coach Saban talking about that they had credit cards. You saw that, right? That Coach Saban was surprised that McDonald's had credit cards. And why is it? I don't even believe that they're using credit cards. All right, Nick Sheridan is Alabama's offensive coordinator, and I talked about this yesterday in the short segment that I had in the evening time. The past Alabama OCs, these are the OC. I just listed the offensive coordinators that I covered since my time. Now, in 2016, I know it was Lane Kiffin. I got here right as Lane Kiffin left, and these were the offensive coordinators that I covered since I've covered the Alabama Crimson Tide. Brian DeBall, Mike Locksley, Steve Sarkisian. You double-dipped with him and Bill O'Brien and went to Tommy Rees, and now it is Nick Sheridan. So big step up, clearly, for Nick Sheridan, taking over from the tight ends coach at Washington now to Alabama's offensive coordinator. Has a lot of confidence, and how could you not with the weapons that you have, right? I mean, you have cheat code, Jalen Milroe, cheat code, Justice Haynes. It looks like a cheat code in Ryan Williams, who just got here, is only 17 years old. You have Caden Proctor at 369 pounds. You have Welcome Formby. You return one of the top centers in the country. You return one of the best in Tyler Booker and Jaden Roberts. I mean, he's coming in. Let me ask you. I mean, all of these coaches came in with a lot of talent. Nick Sheridan, no difference. Right? You got cheat. That's what Chris, I was going to say cheat codes, and then I started going off. Everyone's a cheat code on this team. Everybody is. The coach I was talking about was Coach Locksley when he was the OC here, because it was interesting because I covered actually the Lobos for a little bit when he was at New Mexico. And, man, things didn't go well for Coach Locks over there. It's a tough place to win for anybody. I think he won like one game in 3 years. He comes over here to Alabama where he was an analyst. And he got here, I think, at 2016, 2007. We literally got here at the same time, and he was an off-the-field analyst. So I remember talking to him at the football facility. And then he was the wide receivers coach. And then he was elevated to the OC, right? And before taking the job at Maryland. And when he got the keys to the OC over here, man, he let it fly. But I think overall, I mean, we've all talked about this plenty of times. I mean, the best OC, I think, under Coach Saban, Steve Sarkisian. And then I guess you go Lane Kiffin from there, right? I don't know who would be third. I think, there's a lot of coaches that you could have in that third place. But is Lane, he's probably number 2, right? Sarkisian, Lane, and then I don't know who would be the third top OC that he's had. But I mean, you look at kind of the trajectory of the OC position since 2021, and it's kind of been down, right? You were going up, and you've been going down. And you got to, change it. You got to change that trajectory. Nick Sheridan has some really good sound bites that I'm going to play. He spoke about 2 wide receivers that I'm glad he did, Caleb Odom and Emmanuel Henderson. And then it kind of talks about the third thing he talks about in the soundbite I'm about to play is how they utilize their wide receivers. Like, everybody plays, and they're working all of the positions, right? There's just, like, if you're X receiver, you're just not working X. You're working all over the field. And he says you got to keep the best on the field. So here's Nick Sheridan in a really, really good soundbite from August 14th.
Yeah, I think, every day Caleb does something to impress you, and every day there's still things for him to improve on. And I know, Coach Shep is pointing those out, in every moment that Caleb's out there, he's getting coached, extremely hard. And so a lot to be excited about and a lot to work on. And we're super happy with where Caleb's at. And we know there's still even more for him, to grow and get better at. And he's working on that every day. I think E-Man's had a great camp. I think we're challenging him to be a consistent finisher on the ball. I think he's capable of great things. He's a great kid. He practices his tail off. He's been very explosive in camp. He can run. And we're just challenging him to be a complete wide receiver. And he has embraced that. He's a joy to be around. He always shows up with the right mindset, the right attitude. And so, we've been really happy with E-Man, and we know there's still more for him to go get, but he's done a good job so far. We move guys around for sure. We try to teach them conceptually so that you're playing the best players, that you don't want to, stack really good players in the same position. And so you try to cross-train people so that they can play all 3 wideout spots. Tight ends can play both spots. Running backs can play at different, places on the field. Offensive linemen the same way. You're trying to train the inside guys to play both guards and center. Tackles play both ways. And so I think that's important for us. And, as I mentioned, with the length of the season, we're going to need everybody. We want to make sure our best guys are out there and that you're not, you want to put, the best people and not stack them behind each other. So you move guys around and try to give them an opportunity to show what they can do at multiple spots. Yeah, I think just avoiding negative plays. I think that's always, staying on schedule. And there's lots of layers to that, whether it's a pre-snap penalty, whether it's a missed block, whether it's a poor decision by a quarterback or a receiver not running the right route or whatever it may be, and I'm not saying specifically on any of those, but there's a wide, range of reasons why you may have a negative play. Maybe it's the play caller not putting the players in the right position to get out of a tough look. And so that's what I'd like to see, us to stay on schedule so that we can just execute in normal down and distances and advantageous situations for us.
All right, that was Coach Sheridan speaking to the media. See some comments inside the comment box. Chris is saying, I don't watch interviews like I did with Saban because I trusted the guys did their job with Saban, so I really haven't heard any of these guys speak to the media. It's a completely different world. I mean, now you can, speak to the assistant coaches, and I think I really like it. It gives you an insight to just how talented these young coaches are. I mean, it's an ultra young coaching staff, as we know, and this guy is super sharp. You know who I think I really enjoy listening to the defensive coaches, Mo Lindquist and Kane Womack. Man, like 2 guys who were former head football coaches last year, right? Womack at South Alabama and Lindquist at the University of Buffalo. So you look at kind of the notch. I mean, these guys, I don't even think either of those guys is 40 years old. So really good to listen to those guys, and it's a good approach. I think Coach Saban, his voice carried so much weight, which is fine. This is a different way of doing things, and having these opportunities to hear these young guys speak is really good, and I can't wait to see what he can do here at the University of Alabama. Let me ask you this. Who will be under more pressure as an assistant coach? Will it be Nick Sheridan or is it Kane Womack? Like, who do you think will be under the microscope more? Do you think it'll be Nick Sheridan or Womack? In my opinion, I think it'll be, I was going to say Womack. Because, well, let me explain my case. I want to hear from you. And then I take some calls here coming up, too. I'll put the call-in line at the top of the screen. So now is a good time to call in. Let me get the call-in line number up. 205-850-1994. It's at the top left of the screen over there. I don't know. I think it'll be. I think Womack will be under a microscope because he changed the defense. It's a completely different system. Right now, you're running a 4-2-5. And I think that Coach Saban was a defensive-minded coach, and the defensive standards here at Alabama are almost impossible. Now, Alabama did a really good job on defense last year. Like they changed things, and I mean, Saban brought the defense back. Still brought the defense back. And I think I kind of feel like you have more talent on this team than on offense than you do defense. And that's I just think, look, if we're out of 100, I would say that the offense is like a 97 and the defense is like a 91. So I think Womack will be under more of a microscope. Plus, I mean, the defensive secondary hasn't been tested. Completely brand new. There's only one returner, which is Malachi Moore. So that's why I think that Womack. But I want to hear your take inside the comment box. And if you're watching it on the rewatch or you have some more time to think about it, let me know. Kane Womack or Nick Sheridan, who has more pressure? And give a little sentence why. Lee G, what's up, man? I appreciate you. Roll Tide. I've been doing that at the beginning of the show. I like it. It kind of like sets the tone. Yes, Jeff Tatum has a really thank you. It like in today's world of, I mean, I look, if you allow a team to score 21 points, that's like the old 10 points. Remember when you would like allow a team 10 points and you were like, you know, hey, that was, you know, like 21 points is now like that. But you know who didn't allow a lot of points last year was Michigan. Their schedule was also soft, like super soft. But still, I mean, they kind of, you know, they had a good defense. Chris from New Jersey is on the line. Call line is 205-850-1994. Taking your calls if you want to talk some fall camp, ask me questions, bring your own opinion, whatever. Let's do it. Chris from New Jersey, 3, 2, 1. Chris, I appreciate you, man. Thanks for calling in from New Jersey. I always enjoy your calls, man. Welcome on to the show. Come with it.
Kyle, even though I'm over my my household allotment for calling you this week, there's so much to talk about, so don't rat me out, man. I had to sneak this one in. So, but Kyle, I mean, there's too much to talk about, man. I had to call. So I want to expand on the Justice Haynes interview, and you know, maybe it's just because of what we all went through together with losing Saban and not having a coach, and then there were sharks in the water, and every day we were calling. I was calling you. We were freaking out. Including you, I was freaking out. The Undefeated was freaking out. We got a coach, and then we had to have every day we were counting off to that window open where we were losing players. So do I have, you know, I've been following you know, Alabama for since like the 18th year, and I love all the rosters, but for some reason this roster, you know, they're the top dogs. They stayed, they're loyal, and I've said long before the Saban trouble. I mean, you know, or I don't want to say trouble. Long before what happened to us. I knew Tyler Booker. He was like my favorite player. I love when he was doing those interviews. But now it's amazing that he Malachi Moore did an interview, and I was like, oh, yeah, I like him so much. And then Milroe was doing those interviews. And I was like, oh God, I love Milroe so much. I mean, this is such a good thing that we're going through, you know. And then Jaheim Otis I was loving his interview, and then Tim, you know, and Lawson, you know, his interview was great, and you know, so it's just like an embarrassment of happiness. But by the way, Lawson better game with that number 0. You know, I'm not down with that 0 yet. Now, if he has an All-American season, I'm going to be like, I was wrong. Let's get another 0 in the roster. But so you know, that was what I had to sneak in, and you know, so how good is it that we have a team where every single interview I'm like, oh, I like this guy. I like this guy now. I like this guy. I mean, Kyle, it's great, right? So, 2 things I want to quick ask you, and then I'll run. I'll run. One is, Are they letting anybody into that scrimmage on Saturday? Because I didn't hear if you said it.
The scrimmages are closed. They used to have some access for the Red Elephant Club. I don't know if they'll have that opportunity on Saturday. They're changing things because they want you to become a member of Yay Alabama, which makes sense because, it's part of the NIL collective. Those are the people who are allowed to get autographs. So if you want to become a member of Yay Alabama and, help the NIL, then research it on your own. Yay Alabama, I think, there's various levels, but I think it might be open to Yay Alabama, but I'm not sure. That's a good question. I mean, I think usually those scrimmages are pretty locked down, but some people get nuggets.
One last thing, Kyle, are they going to let you? Because I'm speaking for the undefeated. I know everybody out there, they want it too. Are they going to do that thing where they let you down on that field where you filmed last year? Are they going to do that thing? I mean, we're a couple weeks away from the season. Are they going to let you guys? Because I love that. I mean, that
happened. That happened this past Sunday at Fan Day. So they have So
they didn't let you down on the field, right?
Well, what I did this time was I shot from the opposite side of the field, so I uploaded all that footage. So what I did was I parked my vehicle there early because I was kind of like my package deal because clearly, I wanted to get like maximum views. So I was like, what can I do? Do I go live or do I package I'm always like figuring out like how do I package my material for the best. So I was like, you know what? I'll video the open practice and I'll come back home and, work on that. So that's what I did this year. Didn't get like the autographs on the field, but there's plenty of footage of it. Right. Yeah, there was the lines for Jalen Milroe were as long as you could go.
All right. Well, I snuck this one in, Kyle. Have a listen. Thank you again for what you do. Best to the undefeated. And I'm going to take a few days off, so we'll talk next week, brother. And you have a wonderful day and Roll Tide.
Love it, man. Take it easy, Chris. All right, my buddy Chris from New Jersey calling in. We got a 317. We'll jump right to it. Hey, you're on the line with Kyle Henderson. Who am I on the line with, and where are you calling in from?
Hey, Kyle. It's Marcus from St. Pete, man. What's up?
Marcus, what's up, man? I appreciate you chiming in today, man. Thanks for being a fan funder of Bama Football on YouTube, and welcome on to the show, man. Come with it.
First thing, Deer Hunter, man, get the class. You better pay attention and get your grades right before the teacher snatch your phone away from you. Watching Kyle Henderson on YouTube.
This is the first semester. That's why I told him. I mean, I have a 15-year-old son. I know he's not watching, Bama Football on YouTube. Hey, Deer Hunter, we're gonna get with your parents, man, and make sure those grades are tight because our standards are high here.
Hey, education first, man. So. About the question about who was our best OC, as much as some people probably don't want to admit it, I personally think it's Lane Kiffin because he's the one who opened up Alabama to that West Coast spread offense concept. Prior to that, Coach Saban was very much we run the ball first and second down, then we pass the ball, or we run it first, second down, then we pass it on third if need be. And Kane kind of switched the whole thing up. So in my opinion, and maybe I'm an outlier with this, but I think it has to be Sark first, or it has to be Coach Kiffin first, because he's the one who opened up that whole concept to Alabama running, coming out into the spread. And then I would say it would go Sark, and then it would go Coach Loxley. I think Coach Loxley just had some studs to work with. So did Sark, but I think Kiffin really put Bama's offense on the map, and it shifted the focus from Bama being a very defensive-looking school to, oh man, now Bama has an offense as well.
Yeah, and I would agree with that. I wouldn't strongly go against that. I mean, I do feel that Sark is the best OC, but my point where I agree with you most is, and this is one of the best things that Saban did in his career. In 2016, Coach Saban was able to transform his team to kind of more of an offensive attack type team, changing with the world of college football, right? I'm sure it was difficult for him because he was like a defensive minded coach, but he saw how the game was changing. I mean, he always comments how the best players are always on offense right now. I mean, he just said that on the NFL telecast during the NFL draft. So I'll always kind of look back on that because he changed with the times. And I think that was very admirable of him because he's certainly set in his ways. He's a regimented type person, but he was able to still change with the games. But I agree. I think that was kind of the start of where the offense is right now. And you look at it, think about the quarterbacks after Lane, right? You had Jalen Hurts, then you had Tua, you had Mac Jones, you had Bryce Young, you had Jalen Milroe, right? All those quarterbacks in the NFL. Jalen Milroe will be in the NFL, and you kind of looked at the quarterbacks that even Alabama has now. Those are going to be NFL-type guys too. What else you got, Marcus?
And then coming back to which coordinator is probably under the most pressure, I think it has to be Coach Womack because I think Bama take a huge step forward having Nick Sheridan, whether it was Ryan Grubb or Nick Sheridan, or even Jamarcus Shepard as an OC. I think that's still a step up over Tommy Rees, and it's not a diss at Tommy Rees. I just think that maybe the moment might have been too big, or he was just conflicted on how he needed to utilize his weapons. But I think big time it's going to be Coach Womack because everybody is going to want to know what the defense will look like.
Yes.
Bama, even though Bama has flirted around and ran a 4-2-5 before in the past, I think this is going to be a lot different from what most people are used to seeing. If you watch Bama for more than a season, you will see that this is going to look different. But I think a lot of people want to know how Bama's defense is going to hold up because prior to Coach Kiffin coming in 2016, Bama was known for having a solid defense, an aggressive defense, a hit you in the mouth, smash mouth defense. I mean, I miss the days of Reuben Foster. That dude was a menace on the field.
Yeah.
But I think bringing back that, upholding the standard, because Bama's defense second half was a defense that was lights out.
Yeah.
That second half defense after halftime, when Coach Saban and his coordinators would get together and light a fire on his players' butts, they'd come out and they would shut teams out damn near.
Mm-hmm.
So I think I think the coach who's going to be under the microscope, I think all of them are under pressure, but the coach who's going to be under the biggest microscope as coordinator-wise, I think it has to be Coach Womack. Because everybody, at least most Bama fans I've talked to, want to see what the defense will look like. I think the offense is going to be good.
Yep.
The offense is a Ferrari. You just have to make sure you keep it on the Autobahn and don't wreck it.
Yeah.
But the defense has to be more aggressive because I felt like last season there were plenty of times where the defense kind of felt like they had concrete feet and they were playing very slow.
Yeah.
And they just weren't playing fast and loose. And you could tell it in most games, especially in the first half, they just had concrete feet. They didn't know what to do. Second half, they played a little more fast and loose, but when they played fast and loose, that's when we started getting the quarterbacks. That's when we started, getting big hits and getting picks and forcing turnovers. So I think it's going to be Coach Womack.
Yeah, and I think, what'll be interesting to watch within this defense is something that even Deontay Lawson said recently is the inside linebacker position for him allows him to be more free in this new setup, and it allows him to kind of use his athleticism. I mean, you've seen the clips of Jahad Campbell, of Justin Jefferson, and Deontay Lawson, how fast they look. And what's interesting, I would love to see a percentage of, now that Alabama has, what do they have, over 40 players, did they say, that are running over 20 miles an hour? What percentage?
Insane.
That is crazy. That is like that might be the craziest thing. So the crazy things out of fall camp would be David Ballou putting up, what was it, 765 or whatever?
It was like 765. I mean,
Yeah.
squatting it. That was ridiculous.
Okay.
Man. That's a coach.
Yeah, and then the other thing would be that Alabama has over 40 players running over 20 miles an hour. That's insane. And what is the percentage of those guys that are on the defensive side of the ball? Because if it's like, what if it's like 60%? I mean, that's crazy. I don't know. I mean, I'm sure most of those guys are on the offensive side of the ball, but who knows? I don't know. We didn't see a percentage. We just heard the number, which is definitely wild to me. And, track stars, Jarvis is saying. Anything else, Marcus, that you want to hit on before you dip out?
Yeah, the last thing I want to say is I'm not really focused on, what kind of shifting which coach is under the microscope. I think the position that's probably underneath, from 30,000 feet as fans, is looking out, being couch coaches. I think the position group that, at least in my opinion, I'm going to look at the most is definitely going to be the offensive line. We've got to make sure that the offensive line has been anchored down and that they can actually give Milroe that time to go through his progressions, make the right reads, and check off and throw it down if he need to. But man, oh man, I remember the first half of the season watching it, and I just thought, Jesus Christ, Caden Proctor's a liability. But that guy was baptism through fire, and by the end of it, he was a heck of an offensive lineman for us. Left and came back, but my biggest thing this season is how the DBs are going to look and how the offensive line is going to hold up. That's it.
I appreciate you, man. Thanks for calling in, Marcus. Appreciate you, man. Hey, Kareem Hood, I don't
Absolutely.
know.
Roll Tide.
I don't know about the comments, man. I'm not even moderating, man. I'm just like watching back. So, keep trying to post. I don't know what's going on, but I appreciate you being here, Kareem Hood, man. Thanks for your continued support, and thanks for the call, Marcus. We'll go back to the phone lines with the 334.
Yes, sir.
Hey, you're on the line with Kyle Henderson. Who am I on the line with, and where are you calling in from?
Hey, buddy.
Are you there?
Yeah, buddy, I'm here.
Yeah. Who is this, and where are you calling in from?
Oh, Jeff Stapleton from Selma.
Jeff, what's up, man? I appreciate you joining the show, man. Welcome in. I hope you're off to a really good Thursday, man. Come with it, and welcome to the show, man.
Oh yeah, I was want to talk about the the other guy was talking about how Kiffin changed the game for Alabama. Really, he really took it to a new plateau, if you ask me, because he brought in that West Coast offense, and I don't think they've ever looked back since then. I mean, I see us having a really good year because of all the people that we have. And people can say what they want to, but this was a rebuild for Alabama. You know how they say, I always say rebuild, Alabama just reload. No, this was a rebuild.
This year.
Because we had to replace this year. We had to replace players. We had a really good year last year. I mean, if you think about it, nobody really gave us a chance. I mean, they really counted us out after that Texas game. So they really, I hope they take what they did last year and build on it and go from there, go up, because we're gonna be playing 17 games this year.
Yeah,
I mean that's the outlook, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, I played the silly game, the Dynasty. I played 16 games. It was crazy. It was the most games. Oh, I like what Kareem says inside. I saw that comment, Kareem. Kareem is saying restructured, not rebuild. I think the only area that you had to rebuild really was the defensive secondary, which, you did put pieces back together, but you lost so many guys, dipped out. It was crazy. Whether it be, assistant coaches and, Coach Saban, of course, coached the defensive backs. And you restructured the defense. But the offense, man, like all those weapons coming back, sheesh. I mean, Nick Sheridan completely, some people get lucky. He's in a good spot. But because, look, these are facts. The offensive coordinator was supposed to be Ryan Grubb, right? He left, and in steps Nick Sheridan. Can you imagine being like, hey, Nick, we're going to, instead of tight ends, you're going to coach the offense at Alabama? I'd be like, oh boy. So, no, I like that. What else you got, Jeff?
Reese, think about, I'm sorry. Reese in his, up in the booth, he looked scared when he was not good under pressure. He literally looked like he was about to crap himself when we got behind in a game and he couldn't figure out what to do. I mean, the guy was young. The guy didn't, look, I gave him a chance. I really did. I tried to. But when you're running the ball down Georgia's throat and Michigan's throat, and then you take out the running backs and don't let them, and they're getting hot. They're getting hot. They're getting their feet on fire. They're getting ready to go. You got Justice Haynes is running the ball down Georgia's throat. You got Jam Miller that gets a touchdown on Georgia, and that's another thing. We had them 20-7 last year. Why did we let them come back? We had that game sewn up. Same game with the Auburn game. We had that game sewn up. It was done. But we let them come back, and that's why That's why they're still running their mouth right now, talking about. You got Auburn fans talking about they're going 12-0 this year.
They're not even ranked in the top 25. And the fans that don't remember
in the top 25.
And what I've learned, even more so this summer, after all the times that Alabama has beat Georgia, they have amnesia. They don't even remember last year's SEC championship game. It is like the weirdest thing I've ever seen. They do not remember that game at all. Like Alabama,
I call it dog amnesia.
yeah, they you get what I'm saying? Like they don't even remember, they don't even recognize
I know
that
what you're
game.
saying.
It's the weirdest thing.
It's like they got that thing off of Men on Black, you know that.
Yeah, that little that
memory
look-
gone.
Yeah,
kind of thing.
the red pen. Oh man, yeah,
That's it.
is
They
weird.
don't remember nothing else after that.
Yeah, that's what Kirby does to the whole fan base. He's like, watch this video. Yeah, they don't remember it.
They ain't making us try. They're trying to make us forget about all the 22 DUIs and the battery assault case too. But that's not going to happen.
And yesterday you heard him. What's up, Above Average? I see you, and thank you, Anthony, for becoming a fan funder. And yesterday you saw him kind of. It seemed like he was kind of making excuses, saying that his roster is like deteriorating, and he used to have guys that could step in. Come on, I'm not buying that for 1 second. I guarantee you, if we went over and watched Georgia's practice, we'd be like, we'd be like, man, look, there's a guy, there's a guy, there's a guy. So, I mean, I'm not buying. They're the preseason number 1. They won their last 31 out of 32 games. I'm not buying it at all.
No, I'm not. I don't think they really. Georgia, and they can say what they want to, but losing Bowers is going to hurt Georgia.
Hell
I don't
yeah.
care what fans say, what they do, whatever. This is going to hurt that team because for the last 3 years, he carried their offense. If it hadn't been for Bowers, they wouldn't have beat Auburn.
No. The performance that Brock Bowers had against Auburn in that second half, that might have been one of the best performances out of anybody in college football. I'm serious. He took over that game. It was crazy.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, he did. You're
Auburn
absolutely
had
right.
that game won.
100%. Yep. Yeah. Man, I
So
saw.
it's going to be a good year for Alabama. I'm not worried at all. Auburn fans can keep squawking. Georgia fans can keep drooling or whatever. They have their memory loss stick, whatever. I don't really care. It's going to be a good year for Alabama. I still see a trophy. I don't care. We're going to win that national championship with a first-year coach. We're going to knock the dogs out of their socks and Bryant Denny on the 28th. And we're going to take out everybody else because after we beat Georgia, everybody's going to start saying, "Uh-oh." They're going to have that uh-oh face, the emoji on there,
Yeah,
uh-oh,
yeah.
uh-oh. That's what they're going to have.
No, it'd be a good opportunity to do
that's
it
my-
for sure. Yeah. Well, good call, Jeff. I appreciate you rapping, man, and thanks for calling in. I love the energy. I like your energy, man. You keep it real, and I know you love the Tide, man. So thanks for calling in today, man. I appreciate you.
I'm just looking forward to another year. And I got my Tide Rally cooling towel on the way to me, too.
Oh, nice. Okay, yeah, the Tide towel. Yeah, I love that, man. That's an awesome Twitter account to follow.
The games and stuff.
Yep.
Yeah, I got that one coming right now. So
100%, man.
I'm ready. I'm loaded. Let's go. Let's get this season going. Roll Tide.
Yeah, roll Tide team, man. Take it easy, Jeff. All right, that was my buddy
brother.
Jeff Stapleton calling in. Fam, I hope you guys enjoyed the segment this morning. I appreciate you guys being here. I appreciate you guys super chatting, becoming fan funders, continue to support the product right here on Bama Football on YouTube. I really appreciate you guys calling in and talking Alabama football with me. Today is Thursday, August 15th. I'll also upload this as a replay at 12 p.m. And then also on Spotify as well. I'm live as major news happens. I have different variety of content. I'm on Facebook. I'm on TikTok. I'm on X. So all the places, just look for Bama Football on YouTube. I know there's a lot of places that cover Alabama football. Please support them as well. Like, there's a lot of great content creators that, make a living by covering the Alabama Crimson Tide. There's plenty to go around, so please continue to support, whether it's your recruiting sites, whether it's upcoming YouTube channels. Like, go support them. Like, those guys are really putting all they got to cover the Alabama Crimson Tide. And thank you for supporting me right here on Bama Football on YouTube. Kareem Hood says Kirby's 1-5 against Saban. And that's the thing. Think about this before I go. Saban's last game ever that he won as a coach is against Georgia. They can sleep on that, right? Do the Steph Curry. All right, fam. I love you guys so much. One more time from Tuscaloosa, Alabama.